Hey you guys, it's Peter and welcome to my channel, Peter Likes Books. And today I am going to do a review of the April book for Peter's Book Club, Listen for the Lie by Amy Tintera. I have the whole thing pulled up right here on Goodreads to read you guys the synopsis and then tell you what I think about this. But before I get into this video, I just want to say, I just looked down at the date and I was like, oh my god, it's May 9th. And I'm sitting here at this desk filming this video, and it's so bizarre because 8 years ago and 2 days from now, May 11th, was the very first video that I filmed over here on this channel. It seems crazy that it was that long ago. And yeah, I filmed my very first BookTube video over here May 11th of 2016. So in 2 days, it will be my 8-year anniversary over here. And I just looked down, I was like, this is so weird. Because I was like, the lighting's not great right here. And my husband's upstairs taking a nap right now. And it's rainy outside and dark. And so I was like, I'm just going to film a video. I'm uploading a video on my phone. So I was like, I've got it right here in front of my computer. So I'll just sit here and film today. And I was like, oh my god, it's like, this is like history repeats itself. Here I am over here and at this exact place where I filmed my very first BookTube video. It seems surreal. 8 years that I've been doing this thing. I never thought that starting on BookTube would lead to having 7 channels, 2 book clubs, a movie club, and you know, I've made such great friends through the book clubs. Mel and Nikki are 2 of my dearest friends in the entire world, and yeah, you know, a couple years ago I started Peter's Book Club. So let's talk about Peter's Book Club. A couple years ago, I started Peter's Book Club, and a lot of people get kind of confused about it. They're like, where's the discussion about it? Where's the live stream and stuff like that? And when I started it, I actually wasn't really sure what to do with it. I thought, you know, because for a true crime book club, we do live streams and we discuss the books, and we have a Facebook page. It actually started on Goodreads, but we transitioned it over to Facebook, and we have a Facebook group for True Crime Book Club, which has I think it has 6.8 thousand followers on that Facebook page, which is bizarre, absolutely bizarre that many people are over there following that. But anyway, you know, when I started Peter's Book Club, I felt compelled to do something more. I felt like I should be doing something more with it. I shouldn't just, you know, just pick a book and whatever. But I really wanted it to be very much like Reese's Book Club or the Good Morning America Book Club, or a lot of these book clubs where people just pick a book and then everybody reads it together for the month. I didn't really want it to be, you know, much deeper than that. And in fact, I never really originally, when I very first came up with the idea, I didn't think I would ever do a review video of it. I thought maybe I'll mention it in a video or whatever, but I didn't really think I'd do dedicated stuff to it. And so, you know, I just pick a book, and I used to put it up on Instagram and things like that, but I just started making videos about it, announcing it over here. I will, going forward, I will put it on my Instagram story, what the book is for the month. When I announce it, I will do an announcement video over here like I've been doing, and then I will post it on my Instagram story. So if you follow my Instagram, you will catch what the book is as well. I know that a lot of people don't have Instagram, they don't have Facebook. I recently, and I actually kind of ran it by Mel, I was like, do you think that I should do live streams for Peter's Book Club too? Do you think that I should, you know, do a Facebook group? She was so sweet. She's so good at the back end stuff, and she's like, if you want to do a Facebook group, she was like, you know, I'll run all the back end stuff for you. And I was like, I'm not really sure I want to do all that. I really just kind of want it to be like Reese's Book Club. And so I left it up to you guys, really, and I asked you guys what you wanted, and I was like, you know, should I start a Facebook page? Should we do a live stream? And the majority of you said, I would just love for you to do a video where you're discussing it, because they said, you know, most of you said, you've said for so long that you were going to do these review videos, but you really haven't done it. So starting this month, this is my first video looking at the video from the last month. Starting this month and going forward, I will always do a video dedicated. It'll probably be in the first, I try to do it in the first 7 days, the first week, but going into the first week of every month, I will be doing a full review of the book that we read for Peter's Book Club the month before. And then feel free in the comment section to share what you thought about the book, share your experience with it, if you liked it, your rating, whatever. This is the place to discuss it. Will be in the review video that I do. So please leave your comments over there, any your discussions, you know, be nice to each other, be classy, but feel free to respond to each other. If somebody says something, you're like, oh, I never thought of it that way, you know, feel free to do that. So let's get into it. The book for April was Listen for the Lie by Amy Tintera. Let me read you the synopsis for it. I think it just came out, actually. Let me look down here and see. It came out in March 5th of 2024. What if you thought you murdered your best friend? And if everyone else thought so too? And what if the truth doesn't matter? After Lucy is found wandering the streets, covered in her best friend Savvy's blood, everyone thinks she is a murderer. Lucy and Savvy were the golden girls of their small Texas town, pretty smart and enviable. Lucy married a dream guy with a big ring and an even bigger new home. Savvy was a social butterfly loved by all, and if you believe the rumors, especially with the men in town, it's especially if you believe... if Savvy was the social butterfly loved by all, and if you believe the rumors, especially popular with the men in town. It's been years since that horrible night, a night Lucy can't remember anything about, and she has since moved to LA and started a new life. But now the phenomenally huge hit true crime podcast, Listen for the Lie, and its too good-looking host, Ben Owens, have decided to investigate Savvy's murder for the show's second season. Lucy is forced to return to the place she vowed never to set foot in again to solve her friend's murder, even if she is the one that did it. And it currently has 57,466 ratings, 9,627 reviews, and it is sitting at a 4.17 average rating out of 5 stars, which is phenomenal. I believe I gave it 5 stars. My phone is uploading a video right now. In just a second, I will go in and I will tell you exactly what I rated it. When it gets done, it's almost done. But I'm almost positive. I either gave it 4 or 5, but I think I gave it 5. So I listened to this book on Audible. I started listening to it in the airport when we were coming back from Miami, Florida on the 1st of April is when I think I first started listening to it, Easter Sunday. And it was either March 31st or April 1st, I can't remember. But anyway, so that's when I started listening to it. And we had like 2 hours before our plane took off when we got to the airport. And so we had gotten coffee and stuff and we were sitting there, and I was like, I'm going to start this. I'm just going to start listening to it. And so I did, and I was like walking in and out of these stores and just looking at stuff, and I was listening to it, and I immediately got enthralled with the story. So the story is about this woman, and she moves back to goes back to her small town that she is from, and there is this murder that has occurred of her best friend, and everybody in the town thinks that she did it. And in fact, there's a podcast, this true crime podcast around it, which is called Listen for the Lie, which is where, my video just got done, so let me look and see what my rating was, which is where the name for the book comes from. And there's this guy that is, hold on a second, let's see, my rating for this was 5 stars. So there is this guy that runs this podcast, and his name is Ben Owens. And so, hold on a second. So Lucy is the person that returns back home, and all these people believe that she murdered her best friend Savvy on this night years ago in the woods. And what happens is she doesn't have great memory of what happened that night, and she's no longer with her husband that she was with then. And there's a lot of people that are involved. Even her parents kind of speculate. Her mother speculates that she killed her friend and has even apologized to the parents of her friend and this girl that she was friends with back in the day and stuff like that. It's very, very interesting. The thing is, I am not somebody that loves every book that's put out that has a true crime podcast to it. When I first saw it done was years ago, and it was with Denise Mina's book. Actually, the first book that I read that I ever saw it done was Courtney Summers' Sadie, and it was fantastically done. And I listened to the audio version of it, and the audio version... and all 3 of these books that I'm going to mention are completely different, but Sadie was about a girl that was looking for her sister that was missing, and the true crime podcast followed the case of her missing sister. The podcast was completely separate, and so you would listen to the podcasts were separate chapters. The second, and it was fantastically done, and I love Courtney Summers' writing, and I've picked her books for this book club before. The second book that I read that had a true crime podcast to it was by Denise Mina, and it was called Conviction. Her second book of the series just came out not too long ago, and I listened to it in January. But Conviction was about a woman who, she and her husband left her for her best friend, and so they went off, and so she is obsessed with listening to these true crime podcasts, and she thinks that something about her history that she's kept a secret her entire life it has to do with this murder that occurred that this podcast is following. So she's listening to the podcast and she's trying to solve the murder at the same time. This one was a little bit different because this Ben Owens, who is the guy that's in charge of this podcast, he comes to this small town and has been to this small town actually many times in the past, but he's there to investigate the murder, and he really wants to interview Lucy and work with her, and then they develop this kind of relationship. And so he is actually a character like in the book as well, and even you wonder what his part in it and what his participation is. I don't want to ruin it for anybody, so I won't spoil a lot of this book, but I have to tell you, I literally listened to like the first 2 hours in the airport, and then I listened to the rest of the book on the airplane, and I mean, I finished the book in one setting. It was that good. It was that good. And I really wasn't expecting it. It's interesting because when we were in Florida, I saw so many people like on the beach and by the pool reading this book. So many people. And I wasn't really expecting to love it as much as I did. And the thing is that she's a very likable character, but you really even start to question whether or not she did it or not. And so the ending, it kind of unfolds, like I would say like the first third is kind of the setup to what happened. The middle part of the book, the second third is really kind of the like what's going on with her, like being in this town and coming back and like her interacting and seeing people and they all think that she did it. And even like her ex, like it questions, like they're like talking and you can tell that he kind of thinks that she did it and stuff like that. Nobody really knows what really happened. Or do they? That's the thing. Somebody knows because she knows she didn't do it. But she knows that somebody does out there. And then and that's where she starts working with the podcaster. And then the third part is the unfolding of finding out what really truly did happen that night. Around this wedding and things like that. And it's very, very interesting and not what you expect at all. And the ending, and I actually think the ending of it left for there possibly to be a sequel to this book, and maybe in a different way, a different kind of murder, different kind of thing. I loved it. I thought the book was fantastic. It's been a long time that I have like binged a book that I just sat there and listened to the entire thing in one setting. I absolutely loved it. And I would highly recommend it. So if you love mystery thrillers, it's listed on Goodreads as mystery thriller and suspense adult fiction. So if that is something that you are looking for, I would highly, highly recommend it. I loved it. It's probably one of the best thrillers that I have listened to or read in the last 2 years. And I have recommended it to several people. So anyway, let me know what you think in the comment section below. What were your thoughts about this book if you read it? If you guys want me to do a more spoiler review and share more spoilers in my review, I can do that in the next review that I do. Just let me know. I just didn't want to ruin it for anybody that hasn't read it. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.